Thanks for tuning in to Blitz here on Channel 4. I'm Brian Carter. I'm bringing you some interviews, highlights, and the Blitz Player of the Week, all that in the next half hour. We're going to start here in White County, though, with Tim Bragg. He's the wrestling coach for the Warriors. Coach Bragg, thank you so much for taking time to be with us here on Blitz today.
I appreciate you coming.
Now, Coach, you had another outstanding season. You had a great year last year. This year, even better. You sent 8 guys to state this year. You sent 5 last year. You came in 14th in state last year. This year, you improve and come in 12th. And then you got your state champion, Caleb Morris, second year in a row. He wins state championship. So kind of compare the 2 years, last year and this year, and where the ceiling is at this point for the program?
Well, we led into this year with a lot of seniors. We had guys for 4 years, so they were preparing from now as far as the summer goes. We prepared going to camp leading up to this year, and they did everything we've asked. We led into the season heavy seniors, probably the favor to win area and so forth. And we had a great year. Had 24 wins in the dual matches and peaked at the right time. But they were well prepared. But it started during the summertime. We did step it up with 8 qualifying, and we had 5 the previous years. And that goes to senior leadership to lead the way, obviously. We had some guys that stepped up that we weren't expecting. We had a freshman fill in, was a runner-up in the area, and that was a pleasant surprise. Obviously, we want to keep it feeding through. We don't want always seniors at top. So we've got the right mix to feed into next year. As far as preparing, we started in October for conditioning. We started practice in November, and we led up all the way to the duels. The state duels were our goal. And then after the duels, we transcend into individual opportunities where the whole team bumped down weight classes and a little strategy throughout the year like that. But just got to say that the seniors led the way and just had a great off season and we're pretty much full speed going into November.
Now, Coach, you mentioned the seniors having a big year. Also having a big year, as always, Caleb Morris. Let's talk about him a little bit. How special of a wrestler is he? He's got to be one of the most prolific to ever wrestle at White County High School after 2 straight championships.
Yeah, most definitely. And Caleb, guys like Caleb don't come around. I've coached wrestling. It's my 18th year off and on. I've wrestled since 1980 personally, so I've been around the sport. I've seen it change, and even the last 4 or 5 years has changed significantly. It's incredible the pace and what happens is the competition just each year gets better and better. Caleb by far is the best wrestler I've ever been around. Going back to his freshman year, he's 1 point away from winning the state championship. Was undefeated, going 50 wins that year, and wrestled a tough kid from Carrollton. His sophomore year, wrestled half a season. Came in and really picked it up, was determined, and won a state championship, again with a kid from Carrollton. And this year was just a dominant season with 41 wins, 2 losses from state caliber. One was a 2-time state champ from Lafayette, which one move away, it would have been a little different story. But wins and losses don't count till the end. And he came through the end and finished a great match with Benefield from Locust Grove, beat him 2 times this season. And that's tough to do to a caliber wrestler at that point, and especially in the finals because anything goes. But Caleb by far is a special wrestler, but he's paid the price. Most people see the surface, but they don't see the hours involved. The hours of traveling in the summer, the hours after practice to go to different training centers. So he's paid the price, and he's a special wrestler.
Yeah, Coach, he is a special wrestler, and we're going to have him on the show here in just a few minutes. But let's talk a little more about, you talked about preparing your team throughout the season and how you go pretty much full throttle come late in the year. But when you're preparing, what's the difference in preparing your team for dual matches and traditional matches?
We align our team what would give us the best opportunity to win as a team. That means some guys bumping up. For instance, Caleb, early in the year, we had him wrestle 145. We bumped him up, so he gave up a lot of weight, but that was just one of the things to get the team through. During the season, everybody wrestled up, and it was just strategy-wise. We felt like we were stronger at that point overall. We were able to put 14 guys that were the best. After the season, as far as the duel goes, we had some guys bump down. Matter of fact, from 215 all the way down to 52. Everybody bumped down. Caleb bumped down. He was 35 most of the year, and I bumped down to 30. So they sacrificed a lot of and put themselves on the line wrestling up. So the whole focus on that part was to get better as a team. Like I said earlier, they had a school record of 24 wins as a dual wins this year, and placing high in several tournaments, and that was that was a good season, and our goal was to complete the season. But as far as our wins go, and we did.
Now talk about looking at the duels and the traditional, the way the format works and everything. For those of us viewers, some of us don't understand. I'll be the first to admit I don't quite understand how the format works between the two, the differences, and how the scoring works. Can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Well, in a dual match, obviously one team versus one team. It's divided up same as a bracket, like individuals. So you have your teams as you'd place an individual, and they'd carry out the bracket. The difference is that all 14 guys wrestle, and you get points for each win or loss. Well, you get points for wins, and you get 6 points for a pin, and a 3-point decision, and majors are a little bit different. So you tally up all the scores out of the 14 wrestlers, and whichever team's got the most in points advances through the bracket as a team. And if you lose, you drop down and advance through the consolation. Where individuals, the same format as far as the brackets go, but it's just on an individual basis. So if you win, you get points for your team, but you climb individually. So collectively, as there's 14 different brackets as an individual tournament, each wrestler contributes points for the team. Where a team duel, you have one team, and it just advances as a team.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense for me now. Coach, now another incredible season for you. How soon do you stop the celebration and start preparing again for next year? You got to spend some time to enjoy what just happened, but then how soon do you start preparing for next year? And what excites you most about the 2011-2012 team?
Well, like most coaches, we've started. And last week I didn't do anything. I just kind of gathered our plan. I looked at last year's plan, and it worked really good. This week I'm preparing, obviously, for camp. Well, we're going to hit we hit 13 days in June last year. We're going to hit similar dates this year. We went to the militia tournament last year, so I look at last summer's schedule, and I just kind of tweak it. Obviously, money and travel expense is the concern in the summertime. We'll do a youth camp, have a fundraiser to help the boys, but we start now. As far as scheduling, it's a little bit early, but I have an idea. And I've told our guys this, I always start backwards. I place the schedule at the state tournament, and I work our way back. I don't start at the beginning of the year. I know where we need to be, and I know what competition we need to have before area, and then I work my way backwards, trying to get the best competition. That's why we travel. We travel a lot, and we go to Atlanta. We've been to South Carolina for the past 3 years. But I work my schedule backwards, and I know where I need to be as a wrestler and as a team, but then I have a starting point. So I do a little bit backwards, but I've started this week preparing for next year.
That sounds like a good philosophy, Coach, and hopefully one that translates into winning again next year. Congratulations, Coach, on a great year, and we hope to see the same kind of results next year also, and thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Now, don't go anywhere because I'm not going anywhere. Next on the show, we're going to bring Caleb Morris on. He is the junior Warriors wrestler, the 2-time state champion. That and much more on the way next.